There's a well-known story about a man named Kevin Hines who one day decided to take a walk to the Golden Gate Bridge to attempt to end his own life. Later on in an interview, he would recount this event, and he told the interviewer that if just one person had smiled at him on his walk, or just one person paid him a compliment, he would have not jumped that day. This story resonates deeply with me because it taught me that these small, simple acts of kindness can be life-changing. And the craziest part is, Kevin survived the fall, as you might guess. And as soon as he let go of the rail and jumped, he immediately regretted his decision. Thankfully now, being one of the only people who have ever survived that fall, he is a mental health advocate who constantly emphasizes the importance of these simple acts of kindness. And this kindness is something that I've grown to truly value. Not these big, grand, eloquent acts of kindness, doing these big things for people, but rather the small, everyday moments that we can share with the people around us. Hopefully, we've all experienced someone like having these acts of kindness that makes a difference in our lives. And whether that be someone holding the door for you on the way into a store, a friend smiling at you in the hallway, or just saying hello to someone random. These small acts of kindness can make a big impact in people's lives without us knowing it. And today, I want to share how one person in my life, a longtime friend, who has inspired me to live out this kind of kindness. And first, I'll talk about my friend Austin and how he's inspired me to live this way, and also what I've learned from that. So Austin is one of those people who just radiates with this kind of effortless kindness, and that no matter what's going on in his own life, he always makes time to make sure that people feel seen and heard. So one day, I was just having a bad day at school. Tests weren't going well, projects weren't going well, and Austin kind of picked up on that even though I wasn't necessarily showing it very outwardly. And he said, hey, why don't we just go to lunch, we can sit down and talk. And we got there and he just gave me space and listened intentionally and just gave me the time to just talk about how I was feeling, and really, it helped me. And that this small act of kindness that he put on, while it wasn't the grandest thing he could have done, but rather just this small intentional moment where he was present and just made this small choice just to give up some of his time out of his really busy schedule just to listen to me, is what really taught me that these small acts of kindness can really have big impacts in people's lives. And after seeing his kindness firsthand towards me and watching him interact with other people in his life, I decided that I wanted to be more intentional in facilitating this kind of kindness in my own life. Not that I'm, the most bitter person on the whole planet or anything like that, but rather I want to make it a point. I want to try to be a good listener and be kind and intentional with my kindness, that if I see someone who's struggling, I can be there for them and be more intentional with that. And it's that these simple acts of kindness, like I mentioned before, and the Kevin Hines story, that they can be life-changing, and even if we don't get to see it in our own time. Austin's kindness showed me the power of small, everyday acts of kindness, and that this kindness doesn't have to be complicated, but it can still be powerful without the complications of it. So just imagine for a second, if we all made an effort to be a little bit more like Austin, what kind of impact would it make? How many people wish for just one act of kindness to get them through their day, like Kevin Hines? And this doesn't have to take a huge effort out of our busy schedules between school, jobs, friends, and all of that stuff. It doesn't take a lot of our time. I challenge us to take a page from Austin's book and from Kevin Hines' advice to notice people, to see your fellow man next to you, and just realize that you can be intentional with your time and in small ways show kindness to them. Sometimes all it takes is one smile, one compliment to save someone's life.